It's that time of year again. We are in January. It is for real winter now, okay? It is cold out. We had a little reprieve because our fall wasn't too bad. We actually had a little bit of summer weather in the fall, but now we're in deep winter. Like consistently highs of 40s, lows in the 20s every day in the area where I live. So in order for me to continue to outdoor run, I had to do something this year that I have not done in my entire running career. And that is go out and run in the cold by myself. Like, I never did training runs in the cold alone. Only time I really did cold weather runs was during half marathons or when I was running with a group. But this year, I put my warm girl panties on and got out there and have been running in some pretty cool temperatures. My half marathon that I did a few weeks ago, I think it was like 34 when I started, meaning it was probably even felt less than that at the time. And that one really got me going. It really kicked it off. And so the last few weeks I have been really getting out there, which made it where I felt like I needed to do this video to give you all some tips on how to beat this cold. Just because it's winter doesn't mean you can't get out there and get your miles in. There are many things that are out there, many tools out there for us to use, and just knowing what to do to make yourself comfortable while running out in that kind of weather will help you to get outdoors and get more miles in during the winter months and stay off the treadmill if you're a person who doesn't love the treadmill. I usually don't mind the treadmill, so I'm okay running on the treadmill in the winter, but I do like to get outdoors. It can get a little old and the same old thing looking at my dungeon basement gym every day. So I'm going to share 6 tips with you on how to adapt and prepare yourself so that you can enjoy running even when the temperatures are low. So stay tuned. You don't want to miss this. Hey, welcome to Tempo Running with MJ Smith. I am MJ Smith, and here at Tempo Running, we are here to help you to enhance your tempo, which is your mind and your body, through your soles. If you are returning to this channel, hey, how you doing? And welcome back. And if you are new, welcome. And I hope that you decide to stay with us a while and also hit that subscribe button if you're interested in getting more running tips. I upload at least 1 video a week, so if you don't want to miss anything, go ahead and hit that button right now. So as I mentioned in the intro, I'm super excited that I am now a runner who is able to adapt and prepare so that I can run outdoors. It is nothing like getting that crisp, cool air that's hopefully not on your windiest days, but the last few times I have run, it has been low temperatures, but the air just feels so good once you get out there and you get going. But there is certain preparation and certain tips that you need to have in order to make sure that you are best prepared for your cold temperature runs. So today I'm going to share 6 tips with you. Hopefully you get some information that will help you get brave enough to step out that door in temperatures below 45 degrees, because that was my floor before this year. If it was less than 45 degrees, it was a treadmill day. So imagine my winters, it was pretty much always a treadmill day. Treadmill gets old, so when my weekend runs come around and when my long runs come around, I really like to step outdoors and get those done. So here are some tips so that you can get outdoors and get some air. Or if you're already running outdoors and you're just trying to find some different tips to make it more comfortable for you when you're running outdoors, then stay tuned and get these tips as well, because they may be helpful to make your run a little more comfortable, even if you've already been running outdoors. So let's go ahead and get into the tips. The first tip that I have for you is probably the most obvious one, and that is layering. Layering properly is very important on you being comfortable when you're out there on your runs. You don't want to bundle up too much where you're hot, and you don't want to not wear enough where you're cold. So it's actually trying out some different things and finding out which temperature is right for you. Like I said, I like to do my long runs outside, but I did enough short runs to figure out what my body temp is gonna do so I can properly layer for me. I'm a person, I run cold, so I have to bundle up. I bundle up probably way more than most people would need to. And I don't mind being a little hot on my run. I'd rather be a little hot on my run than cold. So this is my base layer. I just put on a tech type long sleeve shirt and some thermal type leggings so that they can be comfortable underneath my regular running leggings. Then I usually take a quarter zip and my regular leggings and put them on next. So I got this layer on now, and so like I said, I usually do a 3/4 zip. I love it to have the thumb holes at the end, at the tip. Even though I'm gonna put on gloves, I love putting these over my gloves because then my gloves won't get all sweaty if I wipe or snotty if I wipe. I can put it all on this shirt. I have to put on socks, and I choose to put on socks that come over my ankles because the no-show socks, having your ankles out in the cold, for me is not the business. So I put on my socks. So now I've gotten on my socks, and I'm gonna put my last layer over the top portion of my body because I get cold, y'all. They say 36 and I'm supposed to dress like it's 46, but I'm cold in 46. Next, we're gonna throw on these gloves. And last but not least, the headband. It is not wet or snowy outside, so I can get away with my normal running shoes. But normally, like I said, if you're running in snow or in wet conditions, you want to get a shoe without as much mesh on it. But these, my regular shoes, are good for today. So that's how I get dressed for my cold weather runs. It was a lot going on today, but that's what makes me comfortable. Most of you will probably burn up if you went out in 36-degree weather in that get up. But for me, I was pretty comfortable. So for layering, you want to always make sure you have a base layer, which, like I said, they have running tights and pants that can be a good base layer for you. And then you also want to do a long sleeve shirt, tech shirt, also as a base layer. Running gloves or mittens. They say mittens are good for you because they keep your fingers together, which holds more heat. If you're running in extremely cold temperatures, mittens are good. And then a lot of people, if you're in super like really like below 0 temperatures, you can wear gloves and then wear a pair of mittens on top. And then if you get warm, you can always shed the mittens. But that keeps your fingers and stuff warm. And I will talk more about keeping those extremities warm. And then a headband or hat. In most cases for me, I'm wearing a headband and a hat. And then a windproof jacket, which, like I told you, my Nike jacket, I love it. It's great. You just have to figure out what works for you. And then running socks. Making sure you have socks that are going to wick the sweat and stuff off of your feet and not let it just sit and get wet and get cold. And if you're running in rain or snow, you definitely want to make sure you have on the proper socks and shoes. And I will talk a little bit more about that in a later tip. So that is tip number 1. Make sure that you layer properly. Tip number 1 segues into tip number 2. And tip number 2 is to dress 10 to 20 degrees warmer than it actually is outside. Because once you get running, your body temperature is going to go up. You're going to warm up. And you don't want to be dressed for 36-degree weather. You want to be dressed for 46 to 56-degree weather because that is how much your body's going to warm up. And in order for you to be comfortable, you need to be able to balance that out with what you have on. So your runs will likely always start off pretty cool, but by the time you get into that first quarter mile, you'll probably warm up pretty good, and then you'll be comfortable to finish out the race. So gauging dressing 10 to 20 degrees warmer will depend on a lot of things like the pace of your run, the length of your run, the how hard you're going on your run, all of that will factor into how quickly you warm up and cool down. So for example, if you're doing a short run at an easy pace, then you probably only need to factor in 10 degrees warmer. But if you are doing a hard workout or a long run, or you just heat up easily, you will want to be more on that end of dressing like it is 20 degrees warmer, because you want to have on less layers and less clothes because your body's going to heat up more. So hopefully that's understandable, because when you say, hopefully you guys get that. So you always want to figure out what kind of person you are as far as your inner temperature, and then you also want to pay attention to what kind of workout you're about to do in order to determine where you should fall on the scale. And you also have to take the wind chill into account. Today I ran and it was 36 degrees when I got out there, and then the wind chill, it said it felt like 28 degrees due to the wind chill. So that took almost 10 degrees off of where I thought I was because of that wind chill. So you definitely want to check your weather app on your phone, or check your the weather channel, and make sure that you're factoring in, because whatever is lower, the feels like, or the actual temp, you want to go engage your 10 to 20 degrees lower off the lower of the two. So today when I was at 36 and it said it felt like 28, 28 should have been my baseline. So if I dress 20 degrees warmer than 28, then I was dressing for 48. And 48 for me is still cold. I told you I used to didn't even go out past 45. So 48 to me is still cold. So I still bundled up. But that is how you decide how you should layer and how you should dress, or at least a base for how you can start. And then, like I said, as you run, you figure out what works for you. And since we're talking about what to wear, let's segue into our third tip, which is to focus on your small extremities, such as your hands, your feet, and your ears. And the reason why those areas are so important is because they're the furthest from your heart, which is what is pumping blood into you and warming you up. And so with the fact that you're running and you're already pumping blood to your muscles to actually fuel your workout, those extremities may get neglected. So that's why people's hands get cold first, toes, frostbite hits the toes, the hands, and the ears. So just make sure that you got that headband or that hat on your ears. Make sure you got those gloves or mittens, or gloves and mittens on your hands. And then as far as your feet, you want to make sure you have the right shoes. I still have not decided that I'm going to run in the snow. But if a day came around, it was a beautiful day, and there was a little bit of snow on the ground, it was a little slushy, I might decide that I want to go out. And if you're running in those kind of conditions, some people I even see running in the snow. If you're a person running like that, you need to ensure that you get shoes that will that don't have the mesh that most running shoes do. You want to get some mesh-free running shoes if you're going to be running in the cold, because that snow and everything is going to seep right into that mesh. So right now, even if I wanted to go out in the snow, I probably would not, because I don't have those shoes so that I can properly be equipped to run in slush and snow. But you want to get the ones with like a Gore-Tex upper. Those will keep your feet warm. Also, as far as socks, when you're out there and it's slushy and wet, even in the cold rain, you want to make sure that you have on some socks. They suggested these socks called Smart Wool socks, because they wick away the moisture, but they still are warmer than your average running socks. Also, as I mentioned in my blisters video, it never hurts to wear 2 pairs of socks. So if you don't have the Smart socks and it's extremely cold and it's probably wet, then if you have the room in your shoes to run comfortably in 2 pairs of socks, I would suggest that you put on 2 pairs of socks. I've been that person running in 2 pairs of socks before. So it wasn't uncomfortable for me, and my feet and my toes stayed warm, which is the important part. And also, just a little bonus tip within that tip, if you're running on ice, make sure you get some kind of traction. If you're running in snow and ice, make sure you get some kind of traction for your shoe. They have different little pegs that you can put into your running shoes. They have running shoes that come with the traction in it. And some people just put like little screws in their shoe just so that your shoe has something to crutch through that snow and ice and make sure that you get some stability when your foot lands in case it's slippery. All right, so my fourth tip is for you to warm up inside the house before you leave by doing some dynamic stretching and exercises. So you should be doing some dynamic exercises before you get out there to run, no matter what the weather is. But if you do some more active ones right before you walk out the door, it'll get your blood pumping and start to warm up your insides even before you get outside, which can help you have a better start to your run. Because like I told you earlier, if you don't do that warm up, it's going to take probably your first quarter mile at least to try to get your body warmed up to the temperature where you're comfortable. But if you do that while in the house, first of all, you'll warm up quicker because you're doing it in a warmer atmosphere, and then you'll go out with that temperature and it will make your start a little more pleasant, which takes us into our fifth tip. As much as I know I enjoy a good early morning run, in the wintertime, it might help to switch that up to an afternoon run or just a later in the day run, because morning temperatures are the lowest temperatures. Like I said, we're in the 20s at night and early in the morning, and then we get into the 30s, and then our high is the 40s. So I would prefer to run in that 30s, 40s range. Adjusting your run time so that you're running when the temperature is the highest, and if it is a sunny day, the sun is out, because the sun helps so much. I mean, today, even though it was 37, that sun helped to warm it up and make me feel warmer than 37, and it just brightens your day, right? I love running in the sunshine. So definitely try to adjust your time so that you're running afternoon. A lot of us are working from home. Lunch is an allowable time to go and get a run in. So afternoon running is a little more feasible for some folks than it used to be. But definitely, if you can, if your schedule allows, try to go ahead and get those runs in the afternoon or later in the day when the temperature is a little higher. And my sixth tip is for once you get out there, if it is a windy day, try to run into the wind going so that you can have the wind on your back going home. And this is just awesome anyway, because you want to come home faster than you go out. You usually have way more energy. And for me, I'm mentally better starting than I am finishing. So for me to run into the wind going out is better for me. But there is some method to that madness. The reason why you want to run into the wind going out and have it on your back coming back is because when you're coming back, you'll be more sweaty and more wet than you were going. You do not need that wind. That wind will chill you so much faster when you're wet than it will before you start really, really, really sweating. So it's better at the beginning of your run, especially if you're doing it out and back, that you try to make sure your route takes you towards the wind when you're going out, and then the wind on your back when you're coming back. And my last tip, which I guess now becomes a bonus tip because I miscounted my tips. I guess I have 7 tips. So my last tip / bonus tip is that once you're finished with your run, you get out of those wet, sweaty clothes as soon as possible. If you drove somewhere to run, then have a warm sweater or something in the car so you can at least take off the shirt and put on something warm. And then have something warm to drink in the car. That will be helpful. If you can get your Yeti, have you some warm tea or hot chocolate or something sitting there waiting for you that will get inside your body and warm you up. If you're running back to your front door, like I do a lot, then just go inside. Don't hang out and sit down and chill with the family. Go upstairs, get out of those sweaty clothes, hop in the shower and get warm and drink something or eat something warm. Some soup, tea, hot chocolate, something that is going to get you warm on inside. The faster you warm up, the better you'll be, the more comfortable you will be, and the better your body will adjust back to the normal temperature of being back in the house, especially depending on how long you were out there in the first place. It may take a little longer for you to get warmed up. So if you take these steps to getting yourself there, then you should be able to like I said, get comfortable and get warmed up as quickly as possible. So that's all I have for you today. I really hope that these tips help you to get comfortable, to being prepared to run outdoors in these cold winter months, because it is so important that we stay on track with reaching our goals and doing the things that we are setting out for ourselves, and not letting Mother Nature work against us, but we need to work with Mother Nature so that we can achieve what we're trying to do. So please definitely let me know if you have any additional running tips for the cold. I told you I'm new to running in the cold, so it'd be great to hear some of the tips that you all have for how you make it through those cold temp runs. So just let me know in the comments below. And if you have not already, please take a moment to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of these great run tips and just overall temple maintenance that we focus on here on this channel. And also, if you have not already, please go ahead and like this video, hit that thumbs up and like this video. And also hit the bell because you don't want to miss when I upload a new video. I upload a new video at least once a week, but sometimes I throw little bonuses in here and there. You definitely don't want to miss anything, so hit that bell. Also, if you have not already, please go ahead and follow me on my social media for my running blog. I post there regularly about my running journey, and I love following some of your running journeys as well, so please check me out there. And I look forward to taking this running journey with all of you. As always, I appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate every moment that you spend with me on this channel. I am just so humbled, and I know there are a lot of places you can go for run advice, and I'm just happy that you clicked on this video today. So thank you so much, and until next time, are you in?